everyone, welcome to another video. So I thought, well, I was actually doing a bit of a clear out and I thought I really want to share with you, sorry I have a piece of fluff on that needs to go. I really wanted to share with you some items that I think are really worth you investing in. Pieces where either they just keep appreciating in value, so if in your life you ever need to get the money back out, you're cool. Or even things that don't necessarily do that, but they are quality long-term designs. So the first brand I want to start with is Polene. And you might say, you have no right talking about Polene because I don't actually own anything from there. But that's because I tried to buy a Polene bag. I really want the numero Nerf. I think that's what it's called, it's this one. I really want that, and I tried to buy it at Christmas and then again in January, and it's been sold out in most colours. And the other thing that puts me off is with that bag, comes in 2 sizes, and I'm leaning towards the smaller size because some of you that have it have told me that no, I'm leaning towards the bigger size because some of you with the smaller size tell me that you've got to like wiggle your stuff to kind of get it all to fit. But I like the look of the smaller, and I almost would rather go to, I know that they don't have boutiques from what I know, but I'd rather go and look at the bag to know which size is going to work. I don't really want to have to order it. It turns up, it's wrong, I send it back, I order the next one. Do you know what I mean? But I will say this brand looks amazing. I've heard such good things about their leather. But also, correct me if I'm wrong, but did LVMH buy them? Because I think we need to keep a look on at prices here, because I think they did. Correct me if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments if that's true or not. But I think we're going to see the price of Polene go up. And right now they are so well priced for what you get. That's another reason why I'm so tempted, and I don't know why I haven't done it sooner. But as I say, I tried to do it in December, then again in January, nothing left in stock. But Polene, definitely, and if they have been bought by LVMH, definitely worth you, all of us, buying one of their bags. Okay, the next brand that I would say is definitely worth you considering is Aspinal of London. They are, I would say their prices are they're not high-end Louis Vuitton money. They're like that mid-range price. So for example, for the Mayfair bag, it's around about £695, £700 from memory. I really like the Mayfair bag. I really like the look of it. It is excellent condition, like quality. The quality of Aspinal is so good. I've got Aspinal bags that I bought 8 years ago and they still look new now. I've got a Hatbox bag. I've got the Lottie bag. And then if you like the Chanel classic flap, but you don't want to pay that kind of money, I would say to have a look at their Lottie bag, because you can get the quilted version. And it looks very, very similar to the Chanel classic flap. It gives you that vibe. It's really excellent quality. It hangs together and it looks good, and it's going to cost you a lot less. So Aspinal, I definitely say that. They're not a brand that's going to make you any money. You know, they're not a brand that, unless you bought something years ago when it was a lot cheaper and now it's a lot more expensive and then you might make a few £100s on it. It's not a brand that's going to make you anything, but it's a brand that's classy, is elegant, is effortless and well put together, and their packaging's amazing too. You get gorgeous packaging with Aspinal, so I really recommend them. Okay, the next brand that I highly recommend is Fendi. And I think if you're going to buy something from Fendi and you want something long term, you've got to pick your bag, because Fendi do come out with gorgeous bags that are, I don't want to say seasonal, because they're not necessarily seasonal. They do hang around a little bit, but they're not their long term classics, like the Baguette, for example. The Baguette is a brilliant bag, but I also really like the Peekaboo. I've got 2. Excuse my like little toys that I've got hanging on this. But I have 2, and I actually have just referenced these in a video that I'm going to do towards the end of the month, and they're both excellent bags. But I think with Fendi, if you want something long term, the Peekaboo or the Baguette are the best ones to go for. I also really like Fendi because I like the service in there. I think that their customer service is really good. They're really friendly, they're really welcoming, and they will like bend over backwards to help you. I really, really recommend them. They're just so good. Okay, the next one I wasn't sure whether to mention because I work with both of these brands, and I didn't want you to think, oh, it's just an advert, because it's not. When I was putting together this list, they were two brands that came to mind. And I thought, I'm going to give them a mention because I really do believe that they're worth it. So they're both jewellery brands. One is Polene Diamonds and one is Ideal. And they're the same but different. Polene Diamonds are fancy coloured natural diamonds that come out of the earth, but they are responsibly sourced. And it's also 14 karat gold. So you can, like, for example, I've got a combination of Polene and Ideal on at the moment. But you can shower in them, you can sleep in them, you don't have to take them out. And their pieces are really beautiful. I've got yellow gold pieces, and just to be transparent, they gave me these pieces, okay? So I just want to be transparent about that. But my Ideal pieces, I've actually got some of them in this box. This box is from Polene, but when you flip the tray inside, it looks like this. You can keep your stuff in. Ideal is different. Ideal is solid 14 karat gold, lab grown. And the styling of Ideal is slightly different. It's a little bit more contemporary. I mean, they're both contemporary, I suppose. But Ideal's a little bit different. You can get yellow gold, white gold and rose. The same with Polene. So they do the same three tones of gold. Both are family run, and the family are very much involved in both of these brands, and I just really recommend them. The next, okay, so I want to talk about Chanel. Chanel have changed a lot. Okay, so if you take their classic flap, I remember going back like 10 years ago, I used to be able to go into Chanel, and I remember buying a mini square, and it was £2,800, and it was that, do you remember the shiny, the patent coral version that I had, the little one? And I sold it because it was too small, and then what did I do? I went and bought another one that was too small, so I sold that as well, like in the peppermint colour, the green. But I remember that the coral colour was £2,800. Can you imagine £2,800 for a Chanel bag? And that was like 2015. So anyway, when it comes to Chanel, their classic flap, when it comes to the pre-loved market, I think they've gone too expensive, particularly on the jumbo. Well, all of them really. I think they've gone too expensive. And if you go and look pre-loved, this is what I'm saying. You can get a jumbo for nearly £10,000 new. But if you look pre-loved, they're like 6k and a bit less. So that's quite a discount. And I'm not talking about, you know, really old pre-loved pieces here. It's like some new stuff that's not really been used. So I think they've gone too expensive, and it's not doing what Hermes does, where the price is immediately more than what you paid for it. With Chanel, it's not doing that anymore, but it used to. Back in 2015, you could buy something, sell it for more the next day, if you wanted to do that. But a couple of bags that I think there is an exception to the rule. So, classic flap, great bag. It's timeless. It can make an outfit look put together if you're into that look. It's got a value to it. Okay, the value right now, because I think they've gone too expensive, isn't what it used to be. But it's still got a value to it. But I actually think that a better thing to go for, get the classic flap, but get it pre-loved just for a bit cheaper. But I actually think a good one to go for are their bags that are around about £6,000. And I'm going to give you an example here. This, I can't remember how much I paid for these actually, but these bags are now, let's say in the seasonal colours, like in these designs where they're seasonal, they're not necessarily long-term classics. You can pick these up for £6,000. Used to be like the top end of 4,000, but they've gone up. And you've got something that hasn't cost you as much as a classic flap. But because they are, because they're different, they're unique, they're in fun colours, they're harder to get, I want to say in some cases, depending on the colour, you've got something that not only looks pretty, but that you can get your money back out of, like all of your money back out of it. And that's why I wanted to reference any of their pieces that are newer out. Maybe they discontinue that style every so often. It's not a classic flap, it's not, you know, that line, but it's kind of their pieces. They're around about £5,000–6,000. They are smaller bags, but they're worth it. Hermes, I couldn't mention or not mention Hermes. So with this brand, you are literally going to buy something and it goes up in value. I think everyone knows that, but I think if you are looking to invest, I couldn't not mention the brand. I'm not like in love with the Kelly. The Birkin 25 is growing on me. I do really like the Constance, however. I've really liked that for a while now. And I wouldn't personally want to go and play the game of buying lots of bits and bobs in order to potentially qualify for something. But that's down to you. But I do think that Hermes is definitely, like, you can't not mention it. It's definitely a brand that is... You're safe with your money. You can buy something and it's going to appreciate in value. You've got quality there. You've got a great name there. There's lovely history. I think Hermes are really worth it. Right, the next one, and I actually mentioned this in, you know how I said to you earlier, there's a video I'm going to do towards the end of this month. And it's going to be about things that are hyped versus things that I feel are not so hyped and quite worth it. And I want to spoil that surprise a little bit, because one bag or one brand that I think are really worth it and they're not hyped just yet is Cartier. Their bags. Honestly, go and check out Cartier bags. And the same with Shohet. Is it Shohet? Their bags as well. It's almost like people don't realise they do bags, so their bags are really well priced. They're not super expensive. They're not what you'd expect them to be, cost. Okay, you're going to buy it. Possibly you're not going to make money on it if you need to get your money out. Why? Because people don't think about bags when they think about Cartier, do they? They think about jewellery. So I do, but I think that could change. And so I do think the Cartier bags are just gorgeous. And there's one in particular, it kind of reminds me of the Hermes Constance. And I've seen it in real life in the Cartier red. It is breathtaking. Really, really nice. And then two more, one I have, one I don't. So Celine, I just love their designs. And I think that what's really good about Celine is they have got their bags that don't have logos on if you're not into a logo, and they're very classic and they're very classy. But if you do like a logo, those bags are there. And I really like, you know, the Triomphe logo. I forget I think the name of the range of bags that has that on it is the Triomphe range. But I really like that satchel shaped design bag. I don't even know which one I go for. There's so many that I really like. But the next one I have to talk about is the Lady Dior. This particular bag, I bought this in, like, I want to say it was when the Ultra Matte first came out, and I think that was 2019, thereabouts. This bag has been a trooper for me. I've worn it to death. I find the Lady Dior a really classy bag. And the great thing about the Lady Dior is that if you don't want to go and fork out full price on it, these are bags that you can get really well priced, pre-loved. So I would say go and check that out. And in fact, I know of one person, the Monica Way. I talk about her quite a lot. I'm sure some of you guys follow her, but she's like, she does pre-loved fashion. She'll go into charity shops, put together amazing outfits. She got like a grey My Lady Dior, so the one smaller than this, pre-loved for like a fantastic price, and it's a new bag. The person had bought it, it came with the receipts, it was a new bag, and she got it for such a good deal. So you can get these for a lot less. And guys, they're just things that I think are really, really worth it. And I can do more of these videos if you found this helpful. If there are any bags in particular and you're like, oh, is that worth it? Leave it in the comments below and I'll try and go through and see your comments and like respond back to you. But I want to thank all of you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.